I don't know if you're a big coffee drinker, but
I am. I have like a pro machine at home, like grinding it myself and like doing the espresso shot and then steaming the milk.
Oh.
Trying to do some latte art, failing many times, but
we're gonna go around your house soon and we're gonna try it. I hear Timo's really into his coffee as well. We could have like a showdown between Jonathan and Timo on a coffee showdown.
I think he's more fanatic than I am. And Timo, he's the guy when he starts to get into something, he goes deep. I mean, really deep. So he get like special beans and all kind of stuff. And he's searching when he's was at tournaments, searching for location, which one has the special.
Wow.
And one time, I don't know if this was somewhere in Asia, we were sharing I could join his car to the airport, and he asked the driver, can you just stop by on this one? Because I heard it should be a good coffee. So we had to stop for a special coffee so Timo could get like a special coffee.
This is fantastic. Maybe this is why he's so good. He's just so like fixed on obsessively trying to do things well.
I think, he's even more obsessed on other things sometimes than table tennis. When he get a passion, he goes deep.
Well, it's funny you said that because he, when he was making a lot of YouTube videos, I saw him at a photo shoot somewhere, and it was the butterfly photo shoot, and he was looking at my cameras, and I was like, that's interesting. He's like looking, like he's playing around with the microphone. I was like, it's a Rode mic. He's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we started to have this crazy conversation about cameras and mics, and he knew way more than me. Like he was killing me. I was trying to keep up with the conversation. He knew the lenses. He knew everything. I was like, dude, you're a table tennis player, and you know more about YouTube cameras than me.
That's how it is. That's how he is. And as I said, I was also one time by his house, and he has like a small studio, and he said, "Here's I'm filming my video," and it was just like fully pro gear, everything. I mean, he was always like, I would say, a tech guy, always into tech, and then later came other passions, maybe like coffee, and he started watches lately, and but he goes deep. I think it's just when you are I would say a pro athlete, when you start something, it's all or nothing. Like this half, it doesn't work for us. I mean, it's all or nothing, and you become obsessed, and you want let's say you have a friend who played before, and he starts golfing. Let's say pitch, for example, Liam Pitchford. I mean, then it becomes an obsession, and it's always when you have this mindset from table tennis, you want to be not just the best, but you want always to find this extra percentage to improve, to beat the other one. It goes on in life.
And life is so
exactly. It really goes on in life and it can be like another sport or coffee or whatever passion.
Or food, cooking.
Cooking, exactly. And I'm trying now slowly to go into wine, but
okay.
Yeah, it's you just become crazy, So I don't know if.
So
it's
you
a
one of
good
those
idea.
guys now that do the whole swirl, smell it.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got it all going on.
Exactly, and when you open the bottle, you don't drink directly. It needs to be decanted for, let's say, 2-3 hours or something.
Okay.
And it's a good thing. I don't have time to drink that often. I mean, so it's, let's say, 1 or 2 glasses per month, and that's enough for me. And you probably, if you want to, let's say, go more deep into it, you need to drink. I mean, the good thing about wine, you can actually spit. You don't have to drink the alcohol. And but yeah, you need to try a lot. And I don't have that time, but I think it's interesting.
This is great. We're gonna have Timo's coffee shop and Jonathan's wine tasting experience.
Yeah. I will sound ridiculous. I'm not there yet.
I hear you're into watches as well. So is Timo picking your brain for watches then? Because I guess you kind of know more than him right now. There's in the world of watches, it's very complex, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely complex, and I think it's just first of all, it's like as a man, maybe you do. I mean, you not so many wear a lot of jewelry, so it's a way to have a jewelry, and it can be. I like when it's kind of subtle, like it doesn't go out, so you can wear something nice without it's a show off, which I don't like. And there's a couple of table tennis players. They are deep into watches, and as I said, Timo couple of years ago, he was not at all. He wasn't bothered, and now he's all in.
Interesting, because you used to have the Apple Watch, right? The whole time.
Exactly. And it started, I mean, would be great if he could come on and explain to you guys.
Yes.
But it started that his...
Where you are, you, Timo?
Exactly. His wife got so annoyed at him because he was always looking at the Apple Watch. And she said, come on, go on and buy a nice watch at least. I don't have to see you always look at this when getting messages, at dinner or something.
Problem, yeah.
And she's like, come on, I don't want to see that anymore. And Marcus Freitas is like really deep into watches. Mm-hmm. He has crazy knowledge. He's into the old style vintage watches, and he knows like all kinds of freaky stuff. So he's also he's also a guy, when he starts something, it's like no limit, like cameras or old furniture or cars. And it's I think also it's healthy to, first of all, to have something outside table tennis, because it consumes so much time and so much of your energy. So when you have some free time, if you only think about table tennis 100% of the time, you just get crazy. So it's good to have these passions outside your sport. And I think overall, general in life, if you have some passions, it's you stay young of mind. I mean, it's like when you're a child, you collect some kind of thing, whatever it's Pokemon cards or whatever. And if you maybe later on in life you pick up a passion of collecting something, you have to, like, it makes you stay young, sort of, I think.
Yeah. And talking of passions, you and Pitchwood were playing on the PlayStation earlier today, right?
So you just said, I've done my training. And I was like, who did you train with? Pitch. And you were like, so we did some playing, and then we got some FIFA in as well. I'm very jealous. How's that come about?
I mean, first of all, I know Pitch for many years. We used to live together. We lived together 2 years in Germany. And he's still obsessed. I don't know if he's obsessed, but he still plays a lot of PlayStation, and he brought it here. So I asked, come on, we stay now in the same hotel. I said, let's play a little bit today. And I haven't played for a couple of years because I thought it took too much of my time, and I ended up getting annoyed of losing. And so we were not playing against each other. Today we were playing together, which I think was good for me. But when as I said, when we lived together, I was 18 and he was 17. We played against each other, and he has a temper. And he was better than me because he played more. But when I won at FIFA, he got mad. I mean, destroyed so many controllers.
Genuinely angry.
Yeah, genuinely angry.
Great.
Just turned off the PlayStation and I went to his room. I was like, come on, what is this?
I like that competitiveness though. That's kind of what pushes you guys, right? I guess when you were training at age 17, 18 years old, whether it's FIFA, I'm sure you had moments on the table tennis table as well, right? Just pushing you each other along, basically.
I've just realised this must be the first podcast ever where we haven't done an intro. We've just gone straight in.
No intro and no table tennis, really. This is fantastic.
It's nice.
I love it. I love it.
Like, actually, when I'm at competitions, I rather go out and eat dinner outside, away from like the
table tennis arena and stuff.
Table tennis arena, or let's say there's a canteen or catering area. I rather go outside and maybe hopefully some friends join along pitch, for example. Yeah. To get away from table tennis and get that free space. And we travel so much, we are on the road so much. You're different from everyone is different, but me, I need that free space to be able to give 100% when I'm in the hall for practice or for my match. I cannot stay in that zone for a long competition. Let's say sometimes it's a 10 days competition, like World Championship, World Team Championship at Korea. It was 10 days. I cannot stay in the zone for non-stop 10 days. I'm not that kind of guy. I need to go to cafes, have my coffee, go away a little bit in order when I come back to the hall, I'm there.
Refreshed.
Exactly. And everyone is different. There is some, maybe they can just stay in the zone for 10 days and really I'm impressed by them. I cannot. I know myself good enough. I need to get away to be able to come back in, recharged.
That's cool that you know yourself and you know what makes it work for you to bring your best performance. Because take Harry Moto. He's just in that hall relentlessly. He's in there right now. Like he was in there. We just saw him just before. Yeah. He's in there all the time. When we was at China Smash a few weeks back, he lost quite early on. He lost the Trulls. Yeah. And after that, he's in the hall 5 hours every single day with his coaches, multiple, just training relentlessly.
There was one time where we were filming him training, and he's doing all right. And I went went off for about half an hour, came back, and I was like, he's gone. That's strange, because normally he's here. I walked out of the hall, turned left, and there's a running track. And he's just sprinting. And he's a big guy. Like, he's jacked. Just sprinting down there like a mad guy. I was like, this guy must never stop.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think also there is definitely a difference in culture. I mean, from Europe to Asia, which has been the two dominating continent in the last many years. And the Asian usually, they practice more. And I would say they also have a shorter career. Another thing also, they have a lot of competition. If you just drop a little bit, there's a new guy is taking over. And European, maybe the career spread over many years. And you see like Timo, like Samsonov, I mean, they're into their 40s, they're still top of the game. And that doesn't happen. I don't know if that has happened actually from the Asian players.
This is what we're saying about Marlon, right? Marlon is 35, 36. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, we made a video on it, is Marlon retiring? And, you know, got to the end, the interviewer said, hey, are you retiring? He's like, you know, he didn't say he was. And there's a lot of people saying that he actually wants to still play, which is quite nice to see. And maybe because of the conditioning of players is better now, strength conditioning as well, right? I mean, Marlon looks in good shape.
And he's so fit.
Yeah.
He's so fit. And also they break through a lot earlier.
True.
In general, okay, now lately we have Trolls, Felix, who came very early.
Yeah.
But in general, I mean, Harimoto, what was he, quarterfinal at the age of 13? I feel he has been around forever. And he's, I don't know how old he is, just over 20 something.
His sister as well is, what, 15, I think?
16, something like that, yeah.
Ridiculously. She won earlier on. But yeah, exactly what is going on in the genetics in that family?
Listen, when Harimoto first came on the scene at the age of 11 and beat Omar Assar and Jonathan Fist, it literally didn't make physical. It broke the laws of physics. It didn't make sense.
There was the hilarious photo
how can
of them
11-year-old do that?
afterwards of like, obviously Omar's a big guy. He's massive.
Yeah, it was just
Harimoto's
how.
Yeah.
But I feel 2 years later he beat Jun Mitsutani at the World Championship in Germany, in Düsseldorf. I think he went to the quarterfinal, and I mean, it was ridiculous. He was just better at that age. It was insane.
But you know, they say you need like 10 years of like training to become professional, like good quality 10 years, coaching feedback, all that sort of stuff. Like, he's 11, so I mean, what, did he start at the age of 1? Like, you know, there's only so much training you can get in at that age.
But I have heard that doesn't exist anymore, because I also heard that before you need like 10,000 hours of training or whatever. But I think now and more it's like, I mean, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
Yeah.
It goes more into that, and I just think the new generation, that's a proof. I mean, because Felix, he's
a perfect example. Yeah.
Perfect example, and of course he practiced probably insane amount of hours already, but still at the age of 16 he won European Games. He just turned 18, you know, and you're like, how can you beat that good at this age? It's insane.
And like mentally, like in the Olympics, he had like the whole weight basically of the nation, the two of them on his shoulders, and he's still flying, like playing really well. Like it was so easy to crumble under that pressure.
Yeah, also I was impressed by the match for bronze against Hugo Calderano. Okay, Calderano had a really tough loss against Truls. But then still you would think, okay, he, you know, as you said, he's French, he's playing home, Calderano more experienced, and he just, I mean, it's like fear doesn't exist in his mind. You know, if it's 0-0 or 10-10, he's playing this backhand counter full risk.
It looks like he's playing
moment.
FIFA. You know, it's like click of a button. It's like stuck to his racket and just goes on.
We have a theory that he doesn't actually know how to block. So he's just going to crack it when he's like, no.
Well, I think both of the brothers, they don't know how to block. When you play exercise against them, they're attacking you all the time.
Interesting.
So
they're training that motion as well, even though they're meant to be blocking.
Exactly. And I think also that's just how the game has developed over the last years. I mean, block overall is dying. We will see if it come back. But the players like Lin Shidong and Wang Chuqin, I mean, they're also not blocking.
Yeah, I noticed that,
Maybe they're not killing with backhand
it's
every
a little
time,
bit though,
exactly,
isn't it?
It's just this little
bit.
Give a little bit of topspin on the defense, even when you are just playing exercises. And I mean, when I was 15, 16, 17, it didn't exist, more or less.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why Timo stayed at the very top? Because he was kind of the pioneer of the kick, wasn't it?
I think first of all, his talent is probably the biggest we had in Europe over the last, since Jan-Ove Waldner.
Can I just quickly ask on this talent thing, right? Because Patrick mentioned this as well. What is talent now? How does Timo have this talent? He's just born to be able to do this? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what is that talent?
I think when we first mentioned talent, it's obviously the feeling with the ball. And let's say ball control or be able to produce spin. And then actually now when you think about it, okay, there's also other kinds of talent. The talent of working hard, the talent of having good mental strength, being able to focus, and physically talented also, you can have an advantage like from genetic.
Yeah.
But when we just say, oh, he's so talented, then obviously it's like things come naturally to him. He has to do something one time, it is just there, and another one has to do it 50, 100 times before maybe close to...
Like me and Joe here, trying to learn that blimmin' backhand flick.
And so I would say...
Jonathan was kind of like looking at us in there,
I was like, okay, wait, this can get awkward. I don't want to say something. Exactly. I will just ignore. No, so this when we say talent, I would say this is like when things come naturally.
I got you, because it's an easy word just to say, oh, he's talented.
Exactly.
But what's going on there?
And I think sometimes when we just say, oh, he's talented, it kind of like disregards all of the other stuff.
Because like you said, there's work rate there, there's thinking, there's mental, there's a lot of stuff.
There's like a lack of ego as well, to be able to look at yourself objectively and say, okay, I need to improve at this. I'm not that good at this. I need to... that's tough for a lot of the human population to do.
And when some kids are described as talented, often, then they might think, oh, I'm talented, I'm good, I'm going to be fine.
Exactly. And that's why you cannot say talent is more important than the other things nowadays. And it can have a disadvantage that, oh, he's talented, and then you think, oh, it will come by itself. Actually, I don't need to do the hard work, which is obviously required to be a top player. And I would say Timo, how he managed to stay, I would say he managed to change the game over the years. When he just came out, I would say he was playing a bit further for the table and just playing heavy topspin. There was a lot more spin back in the days, so he was just
hard
playing
to hold it.
Exactly, it was hard to hold it. And then the game developed, and spin was no longer so effective, and he moved closer to the table and he played fast.
And he was so quick over the table, lightning.
Actually, he was probably one of the quickest players in Europe, I would say, over the table, which people, when you say Timo, you don't always think that. So I would say his ability to develop, change his game, over so many years, okay, now it go, and adapting. He really adapted, and because he's so talented, it was a lot.
He could adapt easier.
Exactly, he could adapt easier than other players.
And maybe he just saw it as well. Maybe other players didn't adapt quick enough, or didn't think they needed to adapt. Right? There were some people that kind of got crushed from the plastic ball introduction for a long time. Whereas Timo was kind of not phased too much by it. Actually, he did have a bit of a problem early on, I remember at one point. But then he started to just come back again, But yeah, interesting.
We can't talk to you without mentioning Michael Mays, because he might be... we got to film with him. Very lucky to see him up close. Fun. He's just insane.
He feels like when you're around him, he's like a celebrity, He's got the strut. The way he is, he's just
He's like a David Beckham.
He's a David Beckham.
Yeah. Just this cooler than...
some swagger.
Yeah,
it's just swag.
Yeah.
I remember Gaffer on the team saw him and he's like, oh my God, there's Michael Mays. Look at the swagger on him. And he's like in shock. I was like, no, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it was great. But how was it? Obviously, he must have been quite a big part of you growing up and going into the national team and just seeing him. How big a kind of influence did he have on your career?
It's a good question. I would say when you're a Danish table tennis player, he will have a big impact no matter what, because he's the first one who I would say really, really made it from Denmark. He was the one who showed to the rest of us it is possible to be from Denmark. We're not a big country, and we're not a big table tennis nation. Sweden is not the biggest country in the world, but they just have tradition. So he was the first one who really not only made it, but also became one of the best in the world. And then I was lucky enough to share the training hall with him and watched him. So I would say what I learned most from him, it was just like when he's at the table, how intense and how much quality he put into his practice and focus. He just it's like he can just switch on. Okay. It's crazy. He can really make jokes and then when he go and he's at the table, he's just 100% focused. And this, I never saw anyone else to be able to do that like so quick. Like, okay, now it's game time. Now it's on. And yeah, obviously he's left-handed. I'm left-handed. We have a lot of left-handed from Denmark. So it also helps, it's easier to see, he's doing that well. Yes. How can I develop that into my game? He has good receive. He's playing like that with the forehand and a bit more old style than what we are playing now. But I think also, he was so good in his strength. He was like, I don't care what the other ones is doing. I'm playing on my strength.
Yeah. Manipulation of spin and obviously probably his most famous performance, the Hao Shui, lobbing, we always reference that match whenever someone lobs.
I think that's everyone that think of him. That's the most legendary match because he was on the floor,
match points down. Yeah.
But I think if you ask him, his best table tennis ever probably was at the Euros 2009.
I was going to say this was crazy performances.
So I was there at the age of 16. So I was like number 5 in the team, just there to learn.
Yeah.
And I got one match against Offshore in team. I was happy. I lost, but I was just happy to be able to play one match. And in team, Denmark managed to go on to final. We lose to Germany. Mace, he won 2 matches against Christian Süß and Timo Boll, undefeated in teams. And then he went on to play singles and crushed it. So I think he had like 16-0 in that tournament, team and singles together.
Mad.
Do you know what? I know how good his run was.
And he beat Timo twice.
And Timo then this is ridiculous.
Why have I got a feeling that Mays has an unbelievable point against Christian Süß somewhere? It might be
from Danish Open.
Yeah,
exactly. 2 times.
It's the side spin one.
Yeah.
And it was actually something he's just developed out of nowhere because he's not a backhand player, not at all. But suddenly this shot just came, and I think it looked great for cameras.
So he knew what he's doing.
We caught one
exactly.
When he played against us, we caught one beautifully. I was right behind him. You just see the swerve on the ball. We'll have to put it on the screen for everyone.
For sure. I didn't know he had that crazy run on the team as well, thinking about it, because I know his singles run at the Europeans.
Exactly.
Which is insane.
And then team, I think many times team get left out.
Yeah.
It's sad. I loved playing teams. Teams is great competition.
Absolutely.
Well, one of your favorite moments probably is the bronze that you guys picked up at the, was it
2021?
I want to say 2021 Euros, was it?
Yeah, we
Anders.
actually, exactly.
Tobias.
We had I would say for our level, Denmark, we had some really good team performance. Obviously now Anders, he also is a top player, but even before he maybe made it to the really top, we had some really good team performance from Denmark. We made it to, after Mace's time, we made it to semi-final European Games 2019. Then we had bronze medal 21. Then we had quarterfinal European Games, quarterfinal European Championship in Malmö, lost to Portugal. We had good chance. Anders got a red card in one of his matches, so that was a bit
TV.
I think we had a good chance. I was playing well in that tournament, so it was a bit tough. And now quarterfinal at the World Championship. So I think we have always performed quite well at teams and have good team atmosphere. And I really love playing teams. It's great.
Yeah. What do you think what do you think makes you guys so successful in the team stuff? Then maybe you're doing a lot of stuff outside of the table, maybe hanging out in the evening. I don't know. Is there something maybe you guys think about to try and get that team bond?
Yeah, we are working with a sports psychologist. So also as a team, many they work individually, like how to optimize your performance, but we also work as a team.
Wow.
And I think, first of all, we know that we are very different characters on a team. So, for example, if you take me from Anders, we are very different characters. But we don't try to say we have to do the same things or be on the same. We really allow each other to be ourselves. We allow Anders he can be himself because he doesn't work if he do the same thing as the rest of us. He needs to have his space. I need to have my space. And so that way we don't get tired of each other because we allow each other to be free. And otherwise, if you spend 10 days, sometimes you can be a bit annoyed at each other. And so then I think when we come into the match, we're always ready to support each other 100%. And if you look at some of our team competitions, I think we have the best support from the bench giving to each other. And it's just this extra percentage that is really important. And then sometimes you play a team, they're just much better. But if you play a close team, it can be this extra from the bench or better preparation or something that makes the difference.
Can be the decider, that extra bit. So, Jonathan, we have a theory amongst us amateurs, and it's something that me, you, and Timo Boll share in common, and so does Joe as well.
Okay.
I've adopted it recently.
You all wear headbands.
Yeah.
Key. It's so important, isn't it? We think it's 10%.
Exactly. We spoke about it already at the Smash in Beijing. And I can explain again how I started playing with the headband. So I had a bad injury in my back, was out for some time. And when I came back to practice, I had pain everywhere. And I was like, I just want to have some fun. Like, let's say, go back to when you're a kid enjoying the game. So I put on the headband, the wristband, everything, playing in practice.
Like being super keen.
Exactly, like enjoying, also feeling a bit stupid, but also enjoying. And I think I practiced well. And then first match, when I came back, I played against Panagiotis Gionis, defender. And normally you need to be really fit when you play the top defender. But somehow I managed to win with a bad back, and I had the headband on. I was like, okay, now I cannot take it off. Yeah. And then I just went on to really play well after that injury. Also,
wow.
I think I came down to, let's say, 60 in the world, and since then I moved back into the top 30. So now it has to stay on.
Yeah, you cannot take now
it has to stay on.
For sure.
Exactly. And another thing is, in some countries in Asia, it's actually so much better to play with headband because it's so humid.
This is what we say.
And I'm not
sweat so much, and it's
exactly. And I'm not even sweating that badly. There's a lot of players that have to change. We spoke to Hugo. He's changing t-shirt like 6 times in one match.
He brings 40. Yeah, he said 40 t-shirts he brings to a tournament, and he goes for them all.
That's like your dad. That's like chairman.
He does a lot.
So
he does like 4 a match.
Yeah.
But Hugo's on 7.
So when you're playing Singapore, for example, it's really humid, and you're doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And one time in Singapore, I was like, okay, for next year, I have to practice with the wristband on before the tournament because otherwise you always go to the table to wipe and everything. But I cannot get used to the wristband. It's
行吧，不对吧？This is so funny.
Can I throw this to the camera?
Can.
Okay.
One more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Singapore, ready or not?
Singapore, ready or not?
The Singapore Smash, where the action is going down.
The action confirm shock. Confirm shock.
That is the rally of the day.
Chop your seats. Chop your seats now.
Whoa!
Don't see bonjour. 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 Go and buy your tickets now lah.
Get your tickets now.
Singapore Smash. On.
you playing with it.
Yeah, I got the wristband locked in. Yeah, I got
left
the wristband
hand
locked.
only.
Left hand though.
Yeah, you can't do.
For you, it needs to be on the right hand. You don't want to play on the playing hand.
No.
Because I think with the playing hand, you get a bit of tension from the wrist, and then you kind of feel it.
I can feel it on the blade as well when I go to serve.
Drinkle has it on his playing hand. Well,
But
he used to.
Isn't he having it higher up? You know, he doesn't have it down at the wrist. I think it has it here.
Who's that?
Drinkle.
Drinkle is higher up.
Yeah, I think he has it higher up so it doesn't interfere.
I might have to try that. That could be
Mace
a
also
secret.
play with. He was sweating like.
Mate, yeah. Yeah, he
He
did.
was sweating a lot.
Yeah, I remember he used to do this a lot, didn't he? Like,
And at the Euro 2009, like he didn't just change t-shirt. He went to the to the changing room, like between sets, to change everything.
oh wow.
Everything. So this is what I mean. It would be great to learn to play with the wristband, but I don't know. I feel tense in my wrist. I'm not used to it.
We can have a practice session, and I can teach you how to do it.
Great,
You'll be fantastic after that. But for me, I don't know how to play. When you take I think your body might get used to having one, because if you take the headband off now, right? I tried it recently, and you sweat everywhere, and it goes on the bat, it goes on the table, and you're like, has my body maybe got used to like a headband now? Like I cannot play without one, even just for like half an hour. Just sweat loads, and it doesn't feel the same. So I think that our theory is that many times we've been 2-0 down in a league, right? Local stuff.
Oh, yeah.
2-0 down. I'm like,
not
Joe.
Singapore,
No, not Singapore Smash or anything like that, right? Look, we're talking church hall,
where one light's flickering,
drip
the
of
table's
water.
wonky.
It's tough out there, Jonathan.
Service under the arm and everything.
Yeah. Dodgy bat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the microwave before the match. Some local with the pimples.
Yeah.
And you're 2-0 down. Joe, you forgot to put your headband on. Oh, yeah, Jesus. Put a headband on. 3-2 victory.
It's like a scene
It
from like
literally
Dragon Ball
happens
Z.
so many times.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I have seen Thiago Apollonia doing it a couple of times.
We're gonna have to get him to join the club.
And I don't know, it's something maybe we have to ask him.
Yes.
Or I don't know, because I remember in Nigeria it was also really humid. He asked, "Do you have some headbands I can borrow?" And I gave him some, and he felt it's a bit tight and like that. But then I have seen sometimes also in German league. He's like he start without, and then if he's down, he's putting it on. So
Interesting.
maybe there is something about it.
Yeah, it is. He maybe knows. He's not sharing the secret right now, but we kind of know what he's doing.
We know.
Yeah. Headband club.
Exactly.
Speaking of like,
Can we make a website, Headband Club, and just have all the players that are associated to it? We'll
Pitch-
start with us, 3 of us.
Pitch
Pitches
also, he practiced today with headband. Is he always headband? now?
yeah, he does.
Is it always?
Yeah,
he definitely has
does
been
recently.
strong with the headband.
Yeah.
So we've got Timo Pitch yourself.
We need to design our own headband between us.
Yeah.
Really
But
bring a.
But he didn't have it when we played FIFA pitch.
He's not under too much stress against you in FIFA now.
Okay,
He's
I
played
get
so
it.
much.
Yeah. Speaking about like Thiago, so, there's normally a third guy who sits with us, Tom Maynard, and he plays in like Bundesliga 3.
Yeah.
And he texted us last weekend. He was like, "Oh, guys, I'm actually going to Germany. I'm going to go and play a match." We're like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, who's it with? And he's like, "Thiago." And then I think we're playing against Dima. It's like, what? The most surreal thing. Like, literally a guy like us.
It's insane.
Like, that's a bit harsh to Tom. He's a bit better than us. But he's not like your level. And yeah, so like one day he's training with you. The next day, he's like knocking up with Thiago, playing against Dima.
Brilliant.
On YouTube. Yeah, it's just nuts.
Was he happy? Did he enjoy?
Yeah, no, he loved the experience.
He went 5-1 up on Dima in the first set, and we were like, "Come on!"
Yeah, it was nuts.
And then, yeah,
It kind of shows you anything's possible, right?
But
as well.
that's impressive because I mean also Dima has really strong service. So
No,
just
he
to
was
be able,
true.
maybe he watched video where Dima is serving against you.
I put it in the net every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. Like, that's what I find fascinating with you pros, right? Because I'm fully aware of how much spin those guys are getting, and then when you play, you know you can receive it well. You understand the angles of spin and stuff. Obviously, it's still difficult, but you put it in enough position where you're not going to get it tanked past you.
Yeah. Also, you're not trying just to play sharp short. You want it on table.
You just wanna- yeah.
And you
Oh, that's what I'm trying to do. Just get it back. Yeah, and you are putting in a good position. You know, it's impressive. And at the elite level, you guys level, the world class level, the top 100. It's a different game.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you agree with that, right? It's just mad. You
yeah,
guys.
I mean, obviously, but I think especially lately we have seen anything is possible. Look at the Asian Championship.
Yeah.
Wang Shuqin, he lost to a 14-year-old. I mean, no disrespect to him. He's probably one of the best 14 ever.
Amazing.
I
yeah.
mean, so, and he had match ball again. But, I mean, table tennis, it's so complex that almost anything is possible because sometimes you play against someone who is ranked. I mean, I could be play against you, and suddenly I could feel like, my God, this guy has unbelievable serve. I cannot receive one. What is going on? And it's really is like this. Also, if the person has a little bit, let's say, different style of service, or it's not touching. Let's say the pro players, they have a little bit more the same touch and timing. And then you play someone, it's completely different touch and timing than you're used to.
Yeah,
and
sure.
let's say when you're playing topspin, suddenly it comes slower than we're used to. And it's like, wow, it's so strange, and it's you're so out of balance. So it's not easy to suddenly go down in level to play. Let's say usually you play, let's say, within a range your opponent, and suddenly you go low. It's not easy. You get really uncomfortable.
It's just completely different.
Yeah, it feels sometimes like you're changing sport. And I would say in other sports you don't have this. If you compare with, let's say, badminton. I mean, if you have one much better, I mean, he will just be able to play from side to side. And you don't have that in table tennis. It's so complex. It's so difficult. And I think, in my opinion, you can only compare it to golf. There, you start a tournament and you feel almost anyone can win. Like 100. You have 100 who start, and suddenly the guy who is the lowest rank, he go and win the tournament because it's such a difficult sport. And I feel table tennis is the same.
Especially now, like lately, there's been a lot more results, a lot more upsets, and definitely 5 years ago or something, it was you could kind of predict a lot of the results in the draw. Now you look at the draws of these WTT events, you're like, wow, like it's cool. There's so many great players. It's very hard to predict it.
And I would say, obviously, there's a couple of reasons. Obviously, the going from best of 7 to best of 5.
Okay.
The game is shorter, so it's you don't need to take so many sets against the better player.
You go 1-0 down, the better player can feel a bit of pressure and under that bit of stress.
Directly
1-0
stress.
is horrible.
Even 5-1 first set, you are stressed. It's crazy.
I saw that of Hugo earlier. Hugo was, I think he was, I don't know, he was 5-2 down in his first set, and he was already moving a bit stressed. Best of 7, there's a lot more time, isn't there?
Yeah, you lose the first one, maybe I still have time to come back into the game. You're down 2-0. Okay, actually, I can still afford to lose another one. So you have a lot more time. Then I would say we have played more tournaments than we did 5 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's more tournaments to make up sets, plus you are not always fully prepared, I would say, to every tournament, because sometimes you just travel from one tournament to another. A lot of players here, they came directly from European championships. So that's another reason. And then we are changing the tables and the balls almost every tournament as well, or a lot of tournaments, from club to one tournament to a third tournament. And each table and each ball, they are so different. I don't think they understand that, how different each table is. It's really like going in tennis from clay court to grass.
Yeah.
So if you play on a butterfly table with a butterfly ball, it stops so much. Everything is short. Then you go to Tiba, as we have here at this tournament with Tiba balls. It's impossible to receive short. Everything is half long.
Right.
And you need, I would say, couple of days, sometimes a week at least, to get used to it, and you don't have that every time. So it's so difficult, and this is also one of the reasons that I would say it's difficult for players to always come in the best shape to every tournament.
Really interesting you said that, because I just had this crazy flashback I did this day in the life with Michael Mays way back in the day. It was so much fun, and basically followed him around for a day, and he, it was great, and he was awesome, and he said some absolute gems. Remember, one thing he said was when he goes to tournaments, he wants at least 4 or 5 days of preparation in the arena, and that's what he would do. And I guess back in his time, there was less events, and that's probably why someone like Michael Mays, he's going to win those certain matches, Whereas now, everyone's training. It's who's in the hall first, who's getting the reps in and getting used to it, maybe. Because like you said, you're traveling from one event to the next. Alexei just won the Euros, and next morning he's in that hall training.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Isn't it? It's quite wild.
Well, even like Benedikt Duda,
getting
all the way there to the final just shows you how strong the field is.
Yeah, well, this great example. Yeah, insane. It's so hard to predict anything. So many upsets, like Anders Lind defeating Wang Chin, which you were the coach at. That was awesome victory. Of course, he played unbelievable, and geez,
great coach.
Yeah, it's just back to fantastic coaching. Anders said on the podcast, "There's no way I'd have won it if I didn't have Jonathan in my corner."
It's really kind of him. Actually, to be honest, I felt his first victory against Puca from Croatia and the victory after against Kao from Taipei, I felt I had a bigger impact on the game and on the mindset. But maybe because the game he was fully aware against Magnus Joaquin, but maybe I helped him keep his head cool at all time. And also Anders, he knows himself. He has a lot of expression when it's going bad. You can see it on his emotions. And I know him really well. So the table tennis he knows. But my role is maybe more okay, when do I say something to him and how do I tell him? And to, let's say, to keep calm, but do it in a good way. And so I would say maybe that's more my role. And then the tactic, he knows, maybe just he needs a reminder, for example.
Interesting, that's good.
You played here against Omar Assar and won convincingly 3-0, but you had Patrick Franziska in your corner as well. What was he like as a coach?
He was great. Actually, I first spoke to, I'm here without coach, and first I spoke to Pitch, can you coach me? And he said, yeah, obviously, not a problem. And then he played, and he just finished just before my match, and he still asked, you still want me to coach? I say, I could see he was a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
I think he was playing a great match and good chance against Lin Yun.
Yeah, he played well.
And he said, I can ask Patrick, because I was warming up with him. And Patrick said, yeah, of course.
That's nice.
And first, it's great to have your mates coaching you. Yeah. And also, it's not like some random from the street you're pulling in.
Yeah.
They know, these guys, they know, it's the top of the world you're pulling in. So it's
great.
It's as good as anything. And Patrick was really great. And I also, mentally, I was not on the top of feeling great. I had I had a bad European Championship. I didn't play well. I felt exhausted mentally. And I told him before the match, and I think that just made him like, okay, I need also to not just give him tactic, but also push him mentally.
Nice, that's good. That's good.
So I was telling him quite honestly, like, okay, this is how I feel, and yeah, maybe it's something you just should know. Mm-hmm. And then all the time he was like, okay, just keep mentally to push, because I think tactically we know. Sometimes we need a reminder, we forget something, but we know like what we should do.
Yeah.
So the mentally is equally as important as a coach, I would say. And sometimes you don't need to, let's say if it's going really well, maybe you don't need to say something mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if it's going bad, you need maybe, to mention it, I would say.
Sure, a bit of like motivation.
But yeah, he was great. First of all,
great.
Thank you, Patrick.
You have to play in the next round in Yumru. Who are you going to have coaching? Have you decided yet? Is it Patrick? Has he earned enough for or are we getting Dan in the corner?
Hey,
is Pitch in there?
Actually, that would be hilarious.
It would be, wouldn't it?
It would go viral.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of an idea. I like this.
You might be on the plane home a little bit quicker than you anticipated. Though, with Dan.
I'm still playing Linear Room, so we don't know. No, first of all, I don't know if I'm playing tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a bit. Sometimes that's also a bit tricky. We get the schedule, I would say, a bit late sometimes.
Okay.
Because they have to think of TV and request and so. So I won yesterday evening, and I still maybe unless it came out, let's say within the last 40 minutes. But otherwise, I don't know if I'm playing tomorrow or the day after, and it can be a bit difficult.
Quite tricky to prepare. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you don't know. Do I want to practice twice? Do I want one time to go to the gym? Do I need more rest? What about physio? And like, so it's not so easy to prepare. But if I play tomorrow and Patrick is available, I will ask him.
Fantastic.
Maybe I buy him a dinner.
Yeah. Nice. And talking of your performances and stuff, WTT.
Well, I wanted to bring up Ling Gao Yuan.
Phenomenal.
That was Saudi smash, right?
Yeah,
just
amazing.
lost. So let's not talk about that one.
Yeah. Well, sorry, yeah. So he gained his revenge on you. Do you reckon he did a bit of homework after?
I think so, because when I played him at the Saudi Smash, I felt I managed to close his strength down. I mean, he's obviously a better player, nothing there.
Yeah.
But you need to close the other one's strength down, and I think I really managed to close him down, to go into the short game, to get the first attack, play a lot of short to his forehand, force him to open the game, and then play difficult balls and position to his backhand, finding the backhand, change the pace and so. And it really worked well. And so obviously that was my tactic going in now recently here at the China Smash. And I felt he was prepared.
Interesting.
He was just shooting directly with his backhand. I think one of the first points I played to my backhand to his backhand, I want to step around and it just hit me. Before I even get around the corner, I was like, whoa. And then he was so fast over the table. So he obviously, did his homework.
Yeah.
Maybe he was playing better. often that goes together, but yeah.
When you went into the game, walking into it, did you like think, okay, I've beaten you last time? Like, what was your mindset? Were you like, I'm going to beat you again? Did you believe you were going to beat him again?
I think, what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, it helps to already have won one time, because it is possible. Sometimes you play a player and you do your best, but you don't really believe. Does it make sense? You're like,
it's definitely a thing.
It's definitely a thing, and I also get that thought sometimes. And I'm like, okay, but anyway, even if I don't believe, I still need to play as I believe.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect my game, if it makes sense. Sometimes if you don't believe, you're like, then I don't give 100%.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, okay, this will be difficult, but it will not affect my game.
If I can bring my best level to the table, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. And then I try also not to think too much about winning or losing, because when you start to think about winning or losing, it's a chain reaction. I mean, what if I win? What if I lose? Who will play next? Which flight will I? You can easily spiral, Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, get it out and just focus on the performance.
How do you get that out? Because I think this is the biggest problem that amateur players will have around the world, is when like your brain starts going, I could win this, or I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose these ranking points. How do you get that out of your brain quickly? What mechanisms do you have in place?
So I think a lot of players, they think I shouldn't even get this far. I have to get it out in order, like let's say you get nervous you're like, I shouldn't be nervous in order to perform. And with time and with a lot of work with sports psychologists, I like talk about it and acknowledge, okay, whether not you are nervous doesn't have to affect how you're playing. So you should be able to, with practice, to give you 100% and to play with confidence even if you feel nervous. So, and this is, I think, is more modern sports psychologists and misunderstood a little bit, but you have to get rid of the feelings, like the bad feelings. You have to feel good in order to perform. No, that's wrong. You can still perform with a lot of bad feelings inside your body.
This is awesome. I love this concept because maybe, like you said, it's kind of new understanding of psychology.
Exactly.
Because from what I know, from years back, it's kind of like you got to try and find that positive state. Remove the feeling of the nerves and stuff. But actually, it's hard. It's a physiological response.
And so previously, it was like, if let's say you started to get nervous, then you had to talk to yourself like, okay, but I had done my preparation, I have practiced, I know this play, I know my tactics, so I shouldn't be nervous. But as time has developed and we know more and more, it's like, okay, if you're nervous, it's okay, we accept it, but it doesn't have to change how you play. So there's a lot of acceptance has come into sports psychologists. And you can be nervous and still perform. You can feel anxious and feel bad and feel afraid and still give 100%. And before it was like, no, you have to feel good in order to perform. And over time, it had just showed no matter how much confidence you have before, when you go into the biggest tournaments and matches of your life, you will feel nervous. Like you cannot get rid of that. That's unrealistic. You can get rid of that maybe in some matches, but not at the biggest matches. And therefore, it has changed over time. So acceptance, to accept the feelings and the thoughts, like negative thoughts. Like, okay, it's natural, I get a negative thought. Don't hammer myself for getting a negative thought. Move on and come back into the game.
I guess also with that mindset, maybe it's a quicker way of actually the nerves going. And you in the match, and then I'm not actually feeling the nerves now. I'm feeling quite good. I don't know if that happens. But I can imagine if you kind of accept it and do what you're saying there, you're more likely to get rid of it rather than fighting it, If you're fighting it, you're going to feel the nerves for
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And
interesting. I mean, this is such a tough one. A lot of players will feel the nerves, and people don't really know what to do, and it's difficult.
Like it's also natural as a coach. You tell your player, "Don't be nervous," but it's never working.
Yeah.
Like it's never ever worked. Don't be nervous. Okay, then I'm not nervous.
Yes, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. No, it never ever worked. It's like, okay, I know you're nervous, but that's all right. But this is what we focus on. And if you start to get your thoughts, it's okay. We accept it, but this is what we focus on.
And let's focus on what we need to do, and then focus on your game plan and strategy.
Exactly. And then you have all kinds of thoughts and feelings and sensation that is trying to pull you away. And this is then the challenge to acknowledge that, okay, now I'm spiraling. Come back. And then the same thing can happen when it's going well. You're like, now I'm feeling good. Now I had a good start. I won the first set.
Yeah, relax.
And then you forget to play for the next 5 points. And then you play a good player and it's suddenly from 5-0 to 5-5. And this happens all the time.
Interesting.
And then you have to apply the same strategy. Like, now I relax. No, actually, it was not by relaxing that brought me here. It was by being focused and intense that brought me here. So I have to keep doing that.
Ooh, very true.
But our natural
it's relief. It's a relief.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's relief.
yeah,
I like, I won the first set. I'm 2-0 up. Now I can
relax.
Now I can relax. If we have a match point, okay, now I get nervous. Now I have to close it. Now I have to win it. If not, then maybe I will not have the chance again. Now you shouldn't miss. And it's like, but actually it was maybe by playing aggressive, by taking some chances that got you there in the first place. Why you want to change your strategy now? Because you're up. So it's going on all the time. So it's difficult, of course. It's like, it's one of these things you will never master it 100%.
Yeah.
And there's no like one size fits all for everyone. Everyone's going to react differently. Like,
obviously, yeah. I think this is another thing about what we have seen lately in table tennis. There are many ways to become good and many ways of playing to become good. By, for example, we have Troels or the brothers. I mean, they're playing totally new style. And I think this is important to know as coach. Okay, we have different styles. There's not just one way. Not everyone has to play the same and not everyone has to practice the same. And not everyone has to do the same thing. Like I mentioned with me and Anders, we're very different. And we're both successful, but we don't do the same things. We don't think the same way. We don't copy each other, you know. Mm-hmm. We take a little bit from each other. We spare, we learn a little bit. Then we go our own way afterwards.
Yeah. I remember... Troels was saying in an interview at the China Smash, he said when he beat Harimoto, which I thought was a very impressive win because Harimoto was playing so well and Troels got through that game.
And he just lost to him at Paris
and
in the
lost
teams.
him. Yeah, exactly.
So he had to overturn it.
And he said, I just kept doing the chop blocks there and missing loads. But I knew if they started landing, Harimoto's going to start feeling nervous and then I can then start attacking him. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, you know, most people miss one chop block or something and just you won't do it ever again. You feel like a fool or whatever. Yeah. But he missed you know that feeling later? He did 7, missed around 7 and started catching some. Harimoto's dumped some in the net and stuff, and before he knows it, he's starting to turn it around. So that's his style. He's trying to upset the rhythm, upset the opponent, and yeah, you got. And Francisco said this in the podcast. He said you got to know what your style is and really train at that, and know your game plan.
Exactly. There's no. Why should two players who play so differently? Why should they practice the same exercise every day? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I think that's also like when you look at the top players, they are all very clear. What do I want to practice today? I do my things. It's not always the coach saying everyone doing this exercise.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes you can have we do this together, and then you have some free exercise. But most of all, I would say the players choose themselves because they know what they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's fascinating. Yeah, I think a lot of it is like that. I'll never forget. I mean, on our scale, obviously a lot different. But the best piece of kind of advice I got around like the 10-all or like the nervousness was I remember playing in a league and I called a world-class timeout at like 10-all in like final decider. Went over to my brother. Was expecting this like tactical.
So were you up and were you down? Like
I was down and brought it back and then called the timeout.
that sounds quite wild.
Oh no, it's world class. Because then they're like, why is he just called a timeout? Like, yeah. So I remember going over to my brother.
Who you learned that from?
Well, yeah, just be different. Like,
okay,
but
this is his style.
Yeah. But I remember going into the corner and expecting like some tactical advice from my brother. I mean, like we're really close. So like serve short to the forehand. He's going to come in, then attack the backhand, then try and go wide. And I remember he just said, you know what I want you to do? Be brave. Whatever that means for you, be brave. So from that point, I was like, well, that means I'm a right-hander. I'm going to stand here and go pendulum fast serve into their forehand. And I'm going to counter. And chips will I'm either going to win it or I'm going to go down swinging. Won the point, and then on the next like serve receive, you're waiting and you're like, just be brave. It's like, well, okay, I'm going to flick it then. That means I have to attack. Won the game, and ever since then, I'm like, just be brave. In those moments, be brave. I can handle losing, as long as I'm brave.
Yeah.
That's how like.
But I would say like this is. I don't know if I would apply that.
Well, that's why you're at the level you're at, and I'm at
to
the
be
level
that brave. But I mean, if you can take something from it, it's like if I lose, I need to have the feeling I gave 100%.
Yeah.
And this is maybe like being brave for you is like, okay, I really gave everything. So, and everything is not just like fighting, but it's like I really tried to play every shot with 100% quality. So this is probably what it does to you. Like, okay, being brave, then I'm going for it. Then, okay, in your case, it was like making long service to forehand, but it can also be just simple service, but I'm going for it.
Yeah. There's actually what's the word? A constructive reasoning for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're trying to apply your strength rather than, being loose or passive. Being passive, right? You're in a push, and you really push rather than open up. And you know if you spun it in, you'd win the point at this sort of level, right? But yeah, the one thing that I think you pros do, you have to be positive, right? There's no like, especially when you're playing the Chinese players and they're so good at the third ball and stuff. It's just this relentless. So that positivity is. Table tennis is just a mental game, isn't it? It's so mental that, all this mental stuff you're talking about, you have a lot of your level of mental understanding is way higher than a semi-pro person.
Yeah,
that's still part of the game.
And obviously, I would say for different reasons. Obviously, I practiced a lot and had a lot of session with mental coach, and I have failed many times. It's important to fail to learn, and this is also when you play a better player. And you lose, take something from that match. That's why even if you can never know, but it's like, let's say, you're about to lose. Give your best until the end because you might be able to take something from that match. Instead of like, okay, I'm 2-0 and 5-1 down. I might as well just shoot the last 6 points. No, maybe you will lose 11-1, but do your best because then you'll be able to take something from that match. At least take that you did your best, and maybe also you will learn something. But then when you just shoot out the last 5 balls, I mean, then it's just waste of time actually, and you cannot use something for the next match.
Absolutely.
I also think in that circumstance, like if I'm playing against you and you do that, I know I don't need to win the full 3 sets. Just get 2.5 there. You're going to give it to me. It's like brilliant. That makes it even easier. Like
exactly.
whee!
I mean, and sometimes some kind of players. Okay, I don't even need to win 3 sets. I just need to pressure him mentally. Then it will come. And this, I mean, the best players, they don't give something for free. Yesterday when I was playing Orma, I know how hard the last point will be. And I was 2-0, 10-7, and then he take timeout. And my first reaction was like, what is he doing? Why did he wait so long? Why did he wait so long? And after I was like, man, now he's in my head. Exactly. Now, because I had such a good feeling with my service, and then I had the 1 minute break, plus some, go to the towel. So I had, let's say, a 2 minute break until my next service, and I was like, I lost the feeling now.
Yeah.
I lost this in the moment. And he came back to 10-10. So,
Yeah.
Telling you, timeouts should be studied. I would never, ever rule out a first set timeout. Just
I took
sling it in
yesterday,
there.
timeout, first set.
Yeah.
9-3 up. Actually, I took too late. Both me and Patrick, we said it was too late. And then I took 9-7. And I was like, we should have taken a 9-5 and 9-6.
Yeah,
especially best of 5.
Well, that's showing how
the
important
timeout
that
in
first set is. Yeah.
I am all for taking timeout as early as possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like as early as possible. If you see it, don't save it. Maybe it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my bugbear with Gareth Southgate as England manager. 45 minutes in, you can already see what's wrong, but he'll wait till the 80th minute and then make 8
to 89
subs.
minutes. Yes.
Yeah.
This also I don't understand sometimes with football coaches. Yeah. I mean, if you can see it's not working, then change after 20 minutes. Why do we have to wait till halftime? You can see it's going wrong. Just change directly. Do something directly.
Absolutely. Like you and Pitch on FIFA. Changing up formations. Can I just ask one final question?
Sure.
I always feel like you pros have certain gems of information. Is there any one piece of advice you've been given about table tennis? Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe it's like technical on like how to touch a short ball or something that's like always stuck with you and you're like, that's genius. Maybe it's how to do a flick or a lob.
Like a technical part?
Yeah, like anything.
Something we can go away and practice.
Yeah, something we can...
This is good.
Okay. To be honest, I'm stealing so much from the other players.
Oh,
so I would say maybe that's a look at your, friends or players that are better than you, and look at Dan.
Yeah.
See how he's playing. No, I'm stealing so much from the other players.
Who's a good one to steal from?
No, you cannot steal from everything.
Okay.
You have to say, okay, this guy, what is he doing when he's playing backhand? What is this guy doing when he's receiving? How about his service? How about this guy? So, and of course, it's easier to learn from someone when you practice with them. So if I practice with trolls, we live close to each other. Okay, I can see how is he using his backhand punch. Can I take something from that?
Yeah.
So steal from the one, and this is the easiest way is if you practice with them. If it's not possible, can you see them live? Can you see them practice? Can you somehow see some better player practicing? Because in match, I would say it's kind of difficult to learn technical advice. To me, it's more like tactically and mentally you can learn. But the technical, I feel it's hard to, for me, it's hard to see what this guy is doing. Because sometimes, it's a bit out of movement.
Yeah,
it doesn't
you don't
look
know where
as
the ball's going, it's difficult.
Exactly, even the Chinese, it looks easy, but it's not always, when you see them in practice, you're like, my God, this looks amazing. I can look at the balance, I can look at the touch, I can look where they hit the ball exactly. And I'm like, okay, can I use this in my game? So, yeah, this is my advice. Try to watch some table tennis. If you can see it live, it's even better. See how others are practicing and take something. And I think when you're young, you have one favorite player. Let's say if I was young, okay, Michael Mays was my favorite player. I could not copy everything in his game.
Yeah.
He also had flaws.
Yeah.
Take his strength. Take what he's doing that good. And then for something else from the blocking, okay, look at Samsonov, for example. Look how calm he is. He's waiting for the ball calm.
It makes no sense
he's not
how
in
he's
stress.
blocking like that. How?
He's never in stress.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
And then everyone else, when we are blocking, we are so stressed. And they're like, okay, this guy, he's relaxed. Can I take something about being relaxed maybe when I'm blocking?
Samsonov did this thing where he's out of position. Someone's caned it to his backhand, and he was able to still just catch it in and just feel it with the backhand. You know, that's such a hard hold. Such a hard, you know, that's like, and it kicks in, and he's back in position again. Like, amazing.
Yeah, and he's not stressed for the next one.
No, it's relaxed. Where
like, one time you catch one, then you're rushing for the next one. You know, you're trying to guess again, and he's always just waiting. It's insane.
He's very calm personality, so maybe that helps come into his game. He's really calm as a person.
He's not stressing.
No, he's not stressing, is he? He's so laid back. Man, it's been great to talk to you. Wow, so insightful, and I loved every bit of this in terms of it's not always just been about table tennis. It's been
we've done an hour and we haven't even realised it.
This is great. It's been beautiful, and thanks so much for coming on.
Of course, anytime, guys.
Wish you the best of luck for the rest of this event and obviously for the remainder of the season and stuff. But man, thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you want to sign us off officially?
Yeah. As always, guys, be sure to check out WTT on social media. They have an app now, so check it out so you can see all the results from players like Jonathan and many more here at WTT Champions Montpellier. So guys, be sure to like, subscribe for many more videos and podcasts here on TTD. But thanks for watching.